Hello and welcome to Ladder and Blum's 2017 Open Enrollment. My name is Tom Daly with Benefit Administration Group, and I'm going to be walking you through all of your open enrollment options this year, as well as orienting you to the open enrollment site where you can go about making your open enrollment elections. This is the time of year when you get to choose whether you want to participate or not in health, dental, or vision insurance. And with respect to health insurance, which health plan option you'd like to participate in. So I'm going to be going through some of these benefit summaries with you and making sure everybody fully understands that, as well as showing you how to, like I said, complete the enrollment process. The best way to view this video is probably in full screen mode, since there's going to be some detail there. And there should be a box at the bottom right-hand corner of this video screen that will help you see that in full screen. So let me go ahead and jump right in. The place that you go to log in is ladder.ecentral.com, this URL up here. And this is the page that you're taken to. When you enter your user ID and password, which you should be sent an email that'll give you the ability to log on with some other information, the video from Rick introducing what we are doing here, as well as the summary that was sent earlier. But once you log into the page, it'll take you immediately to this home page here, where you can jump right in to manage your open enrollment. You can review some documents that we've posted for you. Let's see, I'll just take a peek here real quickly. These are some more detailed benefit summaries. I'm going to be reviewing with you the 2017 overview, but you have more detailed plan summaries for all the different plans that are offered here, as well as links to provider directories, information on what health savings accounts are, prescription drug resources, etc. So we posted a lot of information here for you, and feel free to review that at your leisure. This site will be open for you year-round. So when you're outside of your open enrollment, you can go and manage qualifying event changes throughout the year, like births, having children, adopting children, potentially getting married, getting divorced. Those kinds of things would trigger an opportunity for you to change your election decision. You could do that by clicking here. You could also update profile information if you move or change phone numbers or something like that. You can update that here. Because you're in your open enrollment right now, both of these buttons will essentially take you to the same place. So if you click that button, it takes you immediately to a profile field. This is just the information that we had on file for you from this past year. If this has changed, please update this. If this is correct, please confirm that it's correct and click next. We have some dependents. If you had those covered, that would be listed here. If they're listed, you can go ahead and double check them, make sure that their information is correct as well. If you need to add a dependent that is not listed here, here's how you would do that. Once you complete your information and your profile information and your dependent information, it takes you to this benefit summary page, which I'm going to go over with you real quickly. If you click on that link, it opens up this page for you, and I'm just zooming in on this so we can all get a better look at it. But the good news for you guys is there's not much in the way of change happening relative to the plans that are being offered for you. In the past, last year we offered United Healthcare health insurance with 3 options. Those same 3 options will go forward this year with just some slight changes in the price for you, for participants. Dental and vision plans are continuing with Delta Dental for the dental insurance and Assurant for the vision insurance. That's actually going to be updated to Sun Life, since that's been an acquisition that's happened between last year and this year. But those 2 plans are staying the same, and the price of those plans are staying the same. But I want to make sure everybody's able to kind of get through these and make some decisions. So I'm going to concentrate on the health insurance plans and how they're similar, how they're different, and then make sure that everybody's comfortable going ahead and making an election on these different plans. As you'll see, there are 3 different plans. There's a qualified high deductible plan, and then 2 copay driven plans, which I'll explain what those copays are in a second. But you have a base plan and then a premier plan, which have richer benefits as you kind of go from left to right on the screen here. But just to kind of go over these, the things that these all have in common is these are qualified health plans, Affordable Care Act qualified, meaning that they do satisfy the individual mandate for coverage. They provide free wellness services for anyone, age and gender specific wellness services. So as you get a little bit older, the amount of things that they do as part of a wellness screening do increase. All of those are done for free once a year for all covered members. So yourself, spouse, kids, all that stuff would be covered for free. That's included in all the different plans. In addition, it's unlimited lifetime maximums for all the different coverage levels on all of the plans. So the differences exist in these areas that we want to highlight here. I'm going to talk about the high deductible plan first because it's the most different than the other two plans. The high deductible plan, in order to be a qualified high deductible plan, it's a plan that cannot pay any kind of benefits until a deductible threshold is reached. So in this situation, your single deductible is $5,000, family deductible is $10,000, and that has to be satisfied before any benefits would be paid. So you see here, if we list the primary care, specialist, urgent care, as well as all the prescriptions, deductible needs to be satisfied before you get into these additional cost items. The out-of-pocket maximum represents a true worst-case scenario for you in a given year as far as covered services, and the coinsurance represents a shared cost after a deductible has been satisfied. So in the situation with the high deductible plan, you have no coinsurance after the deductible is met. So the only way to get from the $5,000 deductible to the $6,400 out-of-pocket maximum would be to use office visits or satisfy prescription drugs, pay for prescription drugs. So in this situation, you have a $5,000 deductible after that's been satisfied. If you go for a primary care visit, that's going to be $30, specialist $60, urgent care $75, emergency room $350, hospital inpatient, you'd have a $500 inpatient copayment. If you have a prescription drug that needs to be filled after the deductible has been satisfied, if it's a Tier 1 drug, that'll cost at most $10 for a 30-day supply, Tier 2 $35, and Tier 3 $60. So this is the most affordable plan that's offered, and this is also, in addition to being qualified for the Affordable Care Act, it is eligible to be paired with a health savings account, which is a savings account that you can open up and fund up to these levels here. For an individual, it's $3,400. For a family, it's $67.50 into a pre-tax account that can be used to pay for these deductible eligible expenses as well as these additional copays. It can only be added, health savings account can only be added if this plan is selected. The other two plans that are available are copay-driven plans, and we call them that because they do offer copayments before the deductible would need to be satisfied. So in this situation, you still do have deductibles, you still have out-of-pocket maximums, and you do have cost shares after the deductibles are satisfied, but the deductibles do not need to be satisfied in order for the copayments to be to kick in. So in this situation, you don't have to satisfy a deductible before paying $25 for a primary care visit or $45 for a specialist visit, etc. The deductible comes into play for hospital inpatient services, as well as outpatient hospital procedures, and then expensive diagnostic tests like MRIs and CAT scans and those types of things are considered hospital-type procedures, so those are subject to the deductible and the shared cost. So in this situation, in the base copay plan, you have a $2,000 deductible, and then 20% coinsurance, 20% shared cost after the deductible is satisfied, up to an out-of-pocket maximum of $6,000. And in the Premier plan, you have a $1,000 deductible with a 30% cost share and a $4,000 out-of-pocket maximum, so that the most that the deductible, coinsurance, and any of these copays can get to is this $6,000 or $4,000, depending on the plan that you select. Just real quick example of how a hospital stay would be treated here, just to make sure everybody is 100% comfortable with this. If I had a $5,000 inpatient hospital stay and I was on this plan, the copay base plan, I'd pay $2,000 as my deductible first, and then I'd pay another $600 or 20% of the balance of $3,000. So I'd pay $2,600 total, and I'd have $2,600 towards my $6,000 out-of-pocket maximum. If I had that same $5,000 hospital procedure and I was on the Premier plan, I'd pay a $1,000 deductible, and then I'd pay 30% of $4,000, the balance, and so that's another $1,200. So I'd pay $2,200 for that $5,000 hospital stay, and that $2,200 would go towards my out-of-pocket maximum of $4,000. I don't have to continue to satisfy my deductible each and every time I would go to the hospital if I'm unlucky enough to have to do that multiple times in a year. It's just the first time that I need to satisfy that before I get into my coinsurance after that. So these copayments, like I said, also go towards the out-of-pocket maximum. These co-payments for prescription drugs represent the cost, the maximum cost of a 30-day supply of those drugs based on the tier. And the plans, like I said, are exactly the same plans that were in place last year. So if you're familiar with how they worked last year, hopefully this will be familiar for you as well. The dental insurance plan is with Delta Dental. No change to the plan here. It is a 180/50 plan that includes periodontic and endodontic treatment at an 80% cost share. So what this means is that means preventative and diagnostic services like cleanings and bite wing x-rays and things like that, those are covered at 100%. You can get 2 cleanings a year for free as long as those charges, the dentist charges, are within usual and customary range without having to even satisfy a deductible. Those services go towards your annual maximum. So the annual maximum of $1,000 per member per year represents the most that the insurance company would pay out in the given year for those services. So you have preventative services covered at 100%, basic services, which are going to be like fillings or simple extractions, those are going to be covered at 80%. You do have to pay a $50 deductible first, so $50 deductible, and then the insurance company pays 80% and you're responsible for 20%. For major services like bridges or crowns, that's a 50/50 cost share after a deductible has been satisfied. Similar to the medical insurance, the deductible is satisfied once per calendar year. But if your total cost of services reaches $1,000 for preventative, basic, and major and periodontic endodontic services, then the insurance company essentially stops paying in that year, in that calendar year. And then it resets in the new calendar year. You have a separate orthodontia benefit. They pay 50/50 for orthodontia, child orthodontia under 19 years old. And the lifetime maximum, not annual maximum for this, is $1,000 spread out over 2 years, so $500 a year. Again, like I said, the cost is staying the same for this plan and the coverage is staying the same. You also have a vision insurance plan that allows for you to pay $10 copay for your eye exam once every 12 months. You could pay a separate $10 copay for either frames or lens or contact lenses. You can get frames and lenses for every 12 months for the lenses, every 24 months for the frames, with a $130 allowance and 20% discount on anything over that allowance. Or you could choose to pick contact lenses and have a $130 allowance for that. You cannot do lenses and frames and contact lenses. It's either or in the same calendar year, but it's a $10 copay for that amount. So that's a summary of kind of the benefits that you need to choose from here. If you go back to this section here, if you click next, it'll take you right into how to enroll for these benefits. Yourself and your spouse and children, if you have any, would be listed right here below, and your cost would be broken down for you for the different plans below as well. As you enroll, the coverage cost changes here. This cost is not reflective of any kind of ladder and Blum contribution, so that's actually full premiums being illustrated. But if you enroll your spouse or children, it'll ultimately change the pricing down below. If you waive them, they'll ask for a reason for the waiver and then ask you to affirm that decision. Whether you're waiving or electing coverage, we do need everybody to complete the process. You can see a quick comparison of the benefits here, just outlined in the same way that summary outlined them, and then you can select your plan there. And then below each of the plans, we have a summary of benefits, which is a more detailed summary of the benefits being offered if you're wanting to drill down a little bit further. Once you've made your health plan election, you can either click to the dental selection or you can click next. If you click next, it goes here, then all of a sudden you see the same thing. You have another little comparison. You can waive or elect coverage. You can decline, say the reason for the waiver. Click next to go from dental to vision. Vision, you can say, okay, we want to enroll or waive in the same way. And that election decision is made and captured for you here. Once all of your election decisions are made in the plan, it takes you to a signature page. This is actually going to pull all that information that you just completed, your profile information, your dependent information, and it's going to pull it onto those 3 different carrier forms. So I mentioned you had United Healthcare, Delta Dental, and Assurant. Those forms will be populated for you. If you just sign with your mouse here, and it won't look pretty because it never does, but if you sign with your mouse and hit the continue button, that will complete the signature process, and then it'll take you to a quick summary where it'll show yourself and your dependents listed, and then all the plans that you've selected, who's participating in those plans, who's waiving those plans, what your cost is for that, and also have some handy links to the different more detailed summaries there as well. You can print a copy of this for your records, and then you can click next to finish the process. You can give some feedback on your experience, tell us about what you liked and didn't like, or just click the finish button up top. And once you do that, you are actually off of our list of people to follow up with. We do not need to ask you for any additional information or any wet signatures on any kind of forms. You're effectively completed. We've put a little help link up here at the top where we've listed some information, our contact information. We have an enrollment call center that we've kept open for you guys. All calls made to that will be recorded, and elections can be given over the phone using that number, but we've also included both my direct line, my email address, and Rebecca Bell, her direct line and email address. We're all very well aware of the different benefits that are being offered to you guys, and we're happy to answer any and all questions you would have relative to both the enrollment process or any of the coverage options that are being offered to you. So we really appreciate you guys taking the time to go through this process and make your election decisions. If you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask, and we'll look forward to gathering these decisions for you. Thank you very much for participating.